Welcome to the deep dive. You might think you know Iowa, maybe endless cornfields, perhaps, a certain field of dreams. But trust us, there's a whole lot more lurking beneath the surface. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the Hawkeye State's hidden, well, chilling side. Our deep dive today is all about the most haunted places across Iowa. We're going to unravel their, chilling histories and explore the spine-tingling accounts of those who've truly encountered the resident spirits.
Right. And our mission here is really to sift through the sources you've given us, pulling out the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights. Think of it as your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed about the supernatural landscape of Iowa.
Exactly. So whether you're planning a Halloween ghost hunt, or maybe you just have an insatiable curiosity for the unknown, this deep dive is definitely tailor-made for you. Let's jump right in then. What's often most unsettling is how some of Iowa's most intense hauntings happen in private residences. Places where real-life tragedies have left this indelible mark, sometimes feeling, well, straight out of a horror movie. And when we talk about residential horror in Iowa, we really have to start with the infamous Villisca Axe murder house. What's the story there? Why does it still hold such a grip?
Oh, Villisca. Yeah, you're right. It's notorious. It earned its chilling reputation back on a warm June night in 1912. The entire Moore family, Josiah and Sarah, their 4 kids, and 2 visiting friends were all brutally murdered in their beds by an unknown attacker with an axe. And the crime? Still unsolved. That lingering question, that lack of justice, it really seems to fuel its enduring haunting.
Wow, unsolved. That always adds another layer, doesn't it?
It really does. And people who are brave enough to visit, whether it's just for a daytime tour or, incredibly, an overnight stay, they report a truly unsettling range of things. We're talking shadowy figures, angry disembodied voices, objects sliding across floors by themselves. People report invisible hands pushing or pulling at them.
Seriously, pushing and pulling.
Yeah, and reports of flickering green lights, even vanishing bloodstains on the walls. It's the sheer consistency, the intensity of this activity is what really sets it apart as one of Iowa's most intensely haunted spots.
Okay, so from that really profound tragedy, let's shift to a different kind of place. A grand, old residence, the Matthias Ham House in Dubuque. This one isn't about a single unsolved crime, more like a mansion that seems to have collected death within its walls over generations. Tell us about its history and the kind of echoes it holds.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how multiple personal tragedies can sort of coalesce into such a powerful, energetic imprint in one single place. This grand 1857 mansion, it saw the deaths of its wealthy owner, Matthias Ham, both of his wives, Zeralda and Margaret, and their daughter May, who died under pretty mysterious circumstances. But maybe the most dramatic death involved a river pirate.
A river pirate, seriously.
Yes, shot and killed right there by Matthias's daughter, Sarah. So visitors and staff today, they consistently report things like icy breezes, lights flickering even when no one's touching the switches, distinct sounds of footsteps, furniture moving on its own. There's even phantom music from a broken organ.
A broken organ playing music. Okay, that's creepy.
Right, and the river pirate, he's often felt as this chilling presence on the 3rd floor, while Mr. Ham himself reportedly prefers the lights left on at night, and doors apparently slam if his rules are disrespected. It's almost like the whole family is still there, kind of making their preferences known.
Laying down the house rules from beyond the grave. Okay, and from a grand home steeped in personal history, we descend into something far darker with Malvern Manor in Malvern. This place has a truly grim history. It evolved from a hotel to a nursing home, then a group home for the disabled. And it's marked by these disturbing allegations of abuse and mysterious deaths. What have investigators and visitors found in a place burdened by so much suffering?
Malvern Manor is.
Yeah, it's a stark example.
Yeah.
It shows how the persistence of human suffering, especially that kind of systemic abuse, can embed itself so deeply. It feels like it transcends the physical building, manifesting as these tangible, sometimes aggressive energies, even decades later. The place is practically a hotspot map of paranormal activity.
A hotspot map, like specific areas or worse? Exactly. On the 2nd floor, there's the blood hallway. It's named for lingering blood spatter from an alleged beating. Voices, footsteps, moving objects are common there. Then there's Grace's room. She was a former patient with multiple personalities who apparently terrified staff yelling, "The devil's coming to get me!" And even now, investigators capture these disturbing EVP recordings, electronic voice phenomena, disembodied voices on audio.
Wow. That's
It
intense.
is. And there's the Shadow Man hallway, which just radiates this evil presence. Someone was apparently even lifted off the floor there. The nurse's wing is thick with angry energy, likely from years of documented abuse. And then there's Inez's room. A 12-year-old tragically died there, leading to reports of giggling and footsteps. Maybe most disturbing is the reflection of the hair-pulling woman.
The hair-pulling woman.
Yeah, a former resident driven insane, apparently. She's still seen yanking at her hair in the very mirror where she used to do it. It's no wonder Malvern Manor was featured on Paranormal Lockdown, and Richard Estep wrote a book about it. The sheer weight of pain seems to have left this permanent stain.
It sounds deeply, deeply unsettling. When we talk about these residential hauntings, it really does highlight how intensely personal tragedies can imprint themselves on a location. But what about places that are haunted, yet the spirits are, well, less malevolent? Like the Mason House Inn in Bentonsport. It's said to house over 100 spirits, and some are described as nice and polite. That's quite a contrast, isn't it? Does that suggest a different kind of energetic imprint, or maybe a different interpretation by the owners?
That's a really excellent point. The Mason House Inn is fascinating because it presents such a stark contrast to places like Malvern Manor. The owners have reportedly sort of embraced these more benign spirits. Guests have apparently encountered a young boy pulling on clothes in room 5, the spirit of a murdered man named Knepp in room 7, a disembodied head in room 8.
A disembodied head. Okay, maybe not that nice.
Well, maybe nice is relative in the spirit world, but also an old woman on the 3rd floor. The key insight here might just be how perception and acceptance can influence the reported nature of a haunting. You know, when tragedy isn't constantly met with fear or resistance, perhaps the energy manifests differently, or at least it's perceived differently.
That's a really unique take. And we also have the General Dodge House in Council Bluffs, haunted by the General's own ghost, apparently.
Mm.
People report seeing two men arguing at dusk, mysterious flashes of light on the lawn. And connecting to deeper historical narratives, there's the Jordan House in West Des Moines and the haunted mansion of Jasper County Maple Hill Mansion, I think it's also called.
That's right, Maple Hill.
Both served as crucial stops on the Underground Railroad, and both are known for paranormal activity. The Jordan House is reportedly haunted by a young daughter, and Maple Hill Mansion by its original owner, Regina Long.
What's striking there is how these grand homes, just steeped in history, continue to hold these echoes of past lives. And that Underground Railroad connection at Jordan House and Maple Hill, it adds this whole other layer. Shared human struggle, hope. It suggests that powerful historical events can leave a spiritual residue just as much as personal tragedies do.
Okay, so if these homes are these intimate echoes of deeply personal or family tragedies, what happens when that sorrow expands? When it permeates the very institutions built to house human experience? Let's step into the public realm now. Explore places where collective histories, a multitude of lives, have left a haunting mark. A prime example seems to be the Farrar Schoolhouse in Maxwell. A rural schoolhouse, active since 1921, stands isolated, right? With a 150-year-old cemetery across the street. What did Jim and Nancy Oliver discover when they bought it back in 2006?
Yeah, the Olivers. When they purchased it, they learned pretty quickly it wasn't exactly empty. They've reported hearing voices in empty corridors, doors slamming shut sometimes, apparently, right in their face. Nancy even had this kind of creepy but maybe helpful experience on the stairwell. An unseen hand apparently helped steady her when she lost her balance.
A helpful ghost.
Maybe. And there have been consistent sightings of a small boy, maybe 3.5 feet tall, on the stairs. He vanishes as soon as he's spotted. The insight here, I think, is how collective childhood experiences, even seemingly innocent ones, when mixed with that proximity to a burial ground, it can create this specific type of lingering energy. Playful, maybe, but still unsettling.
From the sounds of children, let's move to the Cresco Theater and Opera House in Cresco. Historic 1914 venue. Hosted everything from burlesque to modern films. Sounds like this place has a cast of characters all its own, living and not.
It absolutely does. Staff and visitors have encountered an older man, believed to be a former vaudeville performer, just seen in the aisles. Paranormal investigators even captured audio where he supposedly approves of the current theater manager.
Spectral approval. That's a new one.
Right, a rare moment of ghostly endorsement. Then there's Dolores, a stage ghost who has apparently told male visitors to shut up and go away. A genderless child has been seen on the balcony too, and women's screams reported, especially upstairs. And it's not just apparitions. Props and costumes mysteriously shift around in the costume room, plus strained electrical disturbances throughout the building. This place seems to capture the full spectrum of human emotion, applause, frustration, drama, and just keeps it playing on this endless loop.
Okay, and from the stage, we turn to a much more somber institution, Edinburgh Manor in Scotch Grove. This place has a particularly dark past. Can you unpack its evolution and the kind of entities it seems to harbor?
Edinburgh Manor's history is incredibly grim. Yeah, it makes it a powerful testament to the impact of sustained suffering. It started as a courthouse, then got converted into a poorhouse in the mid-1800s. The poor, disabled, and mentally ill worked there in exchange for shelter. Accidents were common, apparently leading to a cemetery for over 80 deaths right there. Then, in 1910, it became an asylum until it finally closed in 2010.
Wow, that's layers upon layers of potential trauma.
Exactly. And the most notorious entity there is known as the Joker,
Hmm.
an aggressive being known for throwing plates, grabbing visitors, even attempting to choke them. Anomalies often show up in photos taken in its old padded cell down in the basement. The key insight here, I think, is how that accumulation of neglect, desperation, and systemic suffering seems to forge a particularly volatile, often aggressive form of haunting. It's like the anguish itself has solidified into something powerful and, frankly, malevolent.
Speaking of places steeped in grim histories and suffering, the Squirrel Cage Jail in Council Bluffs. Truly unique building, right? The only three-story revolving jail ever built. It operated for decades, and it has this long list of confirmed deaths within its walls. What kind of energies linger there?
Yeah, that jail operated from 1885 until 1969, and its very design, which was meant for efficient isolation, was actually known to drive prisoners mad. The place is practically a nexus of tragedy. You've got the infamous mass murderer, Jake Bird.
Oh, the one with the curse.
That's him. His curse reputedly led to 6 deaths among those involved in his conviction. Then there's Charles Noel Brown, the last person hanged in Iowa back in 1962. He reportedly still lingers around his noose, which is actually displayed at the museum there. Other deaths include a prisoner dying of a heart attack, another hanging himself, and the jumper. He fell 3 stories trying to carve his name into the ceiling.
Just awful stories.
Awful. And beyond the apparitions, people report sounds of gunshots and hurried steps, apparently from a riot gun training accident that happened there. The powerful insight here is how intense confinement and being forced to witness so much despair and death can just saturate a space. It creates this dense, almost palpable atmosphere where the echoes of suffering aren't just seen, but heard and felt years later.
And then there's the Independent State Mental Hospital. Its origin in the late 1800s was to address overcrowding, housing drug addicts, alcoholics, the mentally ill, the elderly, the criminally insane. Patients endured truly unpleasant treatments, electric shock therapy, lobotomies. It's chilling to think about the residue left behind in a place like that.
It truly is, especially because it's still a fully operational institution, parts of it anyway. Staff report actively avoiding certain areas because of paranormal activity. They describe feelings of being watched, hearing screaming voices whispering, cold drafts, shadows appearing in empty hallways. There have even been apparitions of former staff and patients. The lingering energy here seems to be this composite of profound trauma and perhaps the desperate search for healing that happened there. It creates a place where the past feels perpetually present, a stark reminder of the human cost of mental health care in earlier eras.
It's clear that institutions can become deeply imbued with the energies of those who pass through them. But even academic institutions aren't immune, it seems. Iowa State University in Ames apparently has various campus haunts. We're talking about Frederica Shattuck, former theater department contributor. Her wheelchair moves on its own. Disembodied voices. Hortense Elizabeth Wind, a WWI Red Cross nurse. Haunting Gold Star Hall. 2 sisters in the Farmhouse Museum.
Yeah, what's fascinating about Iowa State is how the hauntings seem to reflect the diverse aspects of campus life and history. C.Y. Stevens Auditorium is said to be haunted by C.Y. Stevens himself, manifests as cold drafts, footsteps. He's even supposedly been seen as a figure in the back right corner of the third balcony, and maybe he's still watching performances.
Still keeping an eye on things.
Seems like it. Memorial Union Hall, which pays tribute to ISU graduates who died in wars, has this eerie constant moan, rumored to be the voice of the only woman to graduate ISU and die in WWI. Bartlett Hall experiences flickering lights, doors shutting, drastic temperature changes, and the Strayer Theater has its own resident ghost, Zelda, known for mysterious piano music when no one's around, and equipment weirdly working on its own. It's almost as if the passion and dedication of these individuals, to their studies, their arts, it continues to resonate within the campus buildings, like a living archive of their energies.
So, we've explored the intimate echoes in private homes, the profound historical imprints in public institutions. But what about the stories found off the beaten path? In outdoor and often eerie natural settings where these tales of the supernatural persist. Sometimes the most haunting stories are found in the most unexpected places. Let's head to Oakland Cemetery in Iowa City, home of the Black Angel. This isn't just any statue, is it?
No, no, it's far more than that. This is the story of Teresa Feldevert's angel statue. It was originally golden bronze, but it mysteriously turned black after her death when her ashes were scattered beneath it. Apparently, it started with the eyes turning black first, and the local legends that grew around this transformation are truly chilling.
Like what kind of legends?
Well, some say Teresa was a witch who cursed the statue to guard her family's graves, or even that she became the angel, trapped and transformed. Even more chilling is the belief that touching or kissing the angel will result in instant death. Visitors have reported seeing strange orbs, lights floating around the cemetery, feeling unexplainable chills near the statue. The striking insight here is how a symbol that was probably meant to be benevolent can, through tragedy and folklore, transform into this figure of ominous power, embodying local fears and superstitions.
From the Black Angel, we go to Stony Hollow Road in Burlington. A quiet farm road, apparently, with the heartbreaking legend of Lucinda. She tragically killed herself in the 1800s after wrongly assuming her husband abandoned her, when really he was just delayed. It's just a sad story of misunderstanding.
It really is, and it raises that question, why do people continue to seek out such tragic sites? Here, the ghost hunting tradition involves shouting Lucinda's name 3 times to make her appear,
Yeah.
but there's a warning. If she lays a rose at your feet, legend says you will die within days.
Seriously, that's specific.
Very specific. Locals also advise going alone, as Lucinda is reportedly scared by crowds, an introvert even in death, perhaps. It highlights how certain historical tragedies become these localized, interactive legends. They draw people in, but also set these very specific, chilling conditions for interaction.
And then there's the truly gruesome legend of this, well, sources call it Terror, Tara, or Banwell Bridge near Fort Dodge. This is the heartbreaking tale of a woman throwing her 3 children onto the railroad tracks below before jumping herself. Just horrific. What warnings accompany this harrowing story?
This is one of those legends where the local warnings are almost as potent as the story itself. When you're crossing the bridge, you're advised to lock your car doors and windows. Her spirit might try to throw you off, apparently. There are also reports of mysterious handprints appearing on car windows afterwards. It's interesting how the name varies, but the horror of the story and the very active, dangerous nature of the haunting remains consistent. The key insight is probably how profound, violent despair can leave such an active, almost aggressive residual energy in a place, creating a warning for generations.
Okay, for something maybe a little lighter,
Yeah.
though still strange, the Rainbow Bridge near Lake City. What's the intriguing legend there?
Yeah, this one's a bit more whimsical. The legend suggests that if you leave an unopened candy bar on the bridge at midnight, its contents will vanish. But the wrapper will remain perfectly intact.
The ghost has a sweet tooth.
Apparently. It's a playful contrast to the more harrowing tales, offering this unique, less threatening interaction with the paranormal.
And just to round out our outdoor haunts quickly, there's the concrete chair at Marshalltown Riverside Cemetery. Sit in it, die within a year. That's blunt. And the gazebo at Hazel Green Cemetery in Ackley, where an elderly woman holding a baby evokes deep sadness in people who see her.
Right. These stories underscore this broader pattern of local lore where ordinary objects or places become infused with supernatural properties or emotional resonance, like the woods behind Tegra Cemetery in Kellerton near Mount Ayr, believed to be haunted by a cult. Reports of glowing lights, shadow apparitions, footsteps, moaning, and cars mysteriously refusing to start if you visit at night with your lights off.
Haunted cult woods. Okay, Iowa.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, there's the angel statue at Shellsburg Cemetery that reportedly cries actual tears. It adds another layer to the emotional, mysterious elements found in these eternal resting places. These seem less about specific individual spirits sometimes and more about a pervasive sense of dread or sorrow in the landscape itself.
So after this incredible and frankly quite chilling journey through Iowa's most haunted places, what stands out to you from all these stories? Why do these places continue to captivate our imagination like this?
You know, what becomes really clear is that these stories are far more than just campfire scares. They are deeply woven into Iowa's history, its local lore. They often reflect real pain, real tragedy, or unique aspects of the state's past. They really show how places, whether they're homes, institutions, or just a patch of woods, can become infused with memory and emotion. It highlights our human need, I think, to acknowledge past suffering, to tell stories about what we can't fully explain, and perhaps to find some sense of connection to those who came before us, even if that connection is, well, chilling.
And that wraps up our deep dive into Iowa's rich and chilling paranormal landscape. From tragic homes and institutional anguish to haunted academic halls and eerie roads and cemeteries. Quite the tour.
So, the final thought for you is this. Is the persistence of these tales simply our human fascination with the unknown, our imagination filling in the blanks of history? Or do they offer a fleeting glimpse into something truly beyond our current understanding? And if you found yourself at one of these locations, armed with this knowledge, would you dare to seek an encounter?